Each year, the debate intensifies. Is there too much noise on Candlewood Lake,
Yes.
right? And we're talking specifically about New Fairfield and Candlewood Lake the last couple of days, but it's really all over the lake. So joining the show now, State Rep for Connecticut and New Fairfield, Pat Callahan joins us. Hey, Pat.
Hey, Pat.
Good morning, guys.
What's up? So here's my first question isn't this less of a town issue and more of a Candlewood Lake Authority issue?
No, it's exactly the opposite.
Okay.
What you have, the Candlewood Lake Patrol, and I'm going to throw numbers at you because, as I mentioned to you guys off air, I was chairman of the Candlewood Lake Authority for 10 years. Under Connecticut Statute 7151B, the Candlewood Lake Authority Marine Patrol can enforce for boating infractions. That's it. A noise ordinance is a local ordinance and not a boating infraction. And DEP these days, also patrols the lake. Not as many hours as the Candlewood Lake Authority Patrol, but Candlewood Lakes Patrol is empowered by DEP to do this. So DEP, back in the day, they had a state park ordinance, I think it was 22-61, subsection 1, that was, that addressed noise at state parks. Back in the 80s, it was defunded. So the issue is, granted, there are days on Candlewood that are noisy, and there are some people that are inconsiderate on the islands, leaving garbage, being too noisy. But Candlewood Lake Marine Patrol can't enforce for noise ordinances because it's a local ordinance and not a boating law.
Let me ask some stupid questions, right? So I think I understand what you're saying, but let's just say we're talking about a New Fairfield part of the lake, right? And if you're on the shores and somebody at their house is making a buttload of noise, the cops come out and say, what's the deal? Can you turn it down? But we're talking about on the lake, and there's a complaint. Now, who goes to check on that? Who goes to deal with it?
That's a good question because local law enforcement are not on Candlewood Lake.
Right.
So it's those two entities that I just mentioned, either DEP or the CLA Marine Patrol. And they both do a great job. And the way they handle it is if someone calls the DEP hotline, the dispatch line, they'll go over and tell, hey, guys, quiet down.
But I'm sorry to interrupt. The DEP has a presence on the lake?
Yes. They, as part of, by statute, they're going to patrol Candlewood. They have a supervising sergeant here.
How big is it? They have a boat. They go out. Is it one guy? Is it 10 guys?
It depends on the weekend, but it's generally they have one or two boats. And then, like I said, they empower the CLA Marine Patrol to go out and do their thing, and they're able to put more patrols out. Now, DEP is obviously state-funded. The CLA Marine Patrol is funded by the 5 municipalities, but by statute, as I said, they can only enforce boating ordinances. And then the other side of this is, as a state's attorney's office, as you guys know, I used to work for the judicial system, and as a state's attorney's office, how do you enforce a noise ordinance? Because it's someone's perception.
Right.
So it's difficult. Granted, Candlewood Lake this weekend's not supposed to be that nice, so we get a pass. But 4th of July, the hot weeks, just like Squanch gets overloaded and crowded, Candlewood gets it as well. And there's always some people that are jerks, and they're going to blast their tunes till the wee hours of the night. So that's unfortunately just humanity. But the Marine Patrol and DEP, if they see a huge gathering that's getting really out of control, they're going to go over and do things like see if they have the proper life jackets, PFDs, and check registrations, things like that. And they could say, hey, guys, you're acting like jerks. Quiet it down. But enforcement-wise, it's a tough one.
Let me see if I follow. So I'm confused. So you have a noise or large gathering on one of the islands, littering, any one of those things, and I see it and it pisses me off. I call DEP. Then DEP calls the Marine Patrol, who can go out and deal with it.
No.
Okay.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me run this scenario by you. Okay, yeah. I'm out on my pontoon. I'm over near, say, like Sail Harbor. And I'm not, right next to Sail Harbor. I'm like in the middle there.
Yep.
And all of a sudden there's a boat 500 yards away and he's playing Pass Dat by Jeremiah. He's got 7 subwoofers on the boat.
That's a crime in itself, Ethan.
What if you can't stand that?
Yeah, who do you call? Who goes out?
Yeah, who goes out? Anybody?
Nope.
No. Okay.
So basically, with this potential noise ordinance, what will need to be done by either you or folks like you to have something actually happen and affect change?
Well, it's a local ordinance, not a state ordinance. So local government. So if one of the 5 towns around Candlewood passes a noise ordinance, the issue is, when we're circling around, is who enforces it. Right. And the only people on the water are DEEP and CLA Marine Patrol, and neither one of those are going to do it.
So nothing's going to happen.
Nothing's going to happen then.
Well, it's just the way the structure works. Now, if it's on land, if local police go out to your house and say, "Hey guys, quiet down because we have this ordinance," how are they going to get to the boats on the water?
Wouldn't it make sense then for each of the municipalities to have their own lake presence for the police departments?
Well, yeah. I mean, we've talked about that over the years too, for several different issues that arise with enforcement on the lake. But it's just a tough one. And I know some people get upset because of the noise. Hey, buy a house near an airport, there's some noise. But it's some people get more unruly. A lot of times, when people are out there rafting up and having a good time, it gets a little loud, and some of these sound systems on the boats are ridiculous right now. But if they can talk to them, they could talk to them about the boating safety issues, but just neither have the authority to enforce a local noise ordinance.
Pat Callahan's joining the show, state rep, Connecticut, out of New Fairfield. It's interesting, and I guess I kind of figured that, given the fact that you have the lake that touches all these different towns and you have all these different organizations, I kind of figured it would be complicated to the point where there's really no one who can enforce these things. Here's what I say stands to be lost.
What do you say?
Because I'm hearing a lot of "get off my lawn" out of the two of you. I don't like this music either. But without that music, Ethan, you are not going to get jiggly butt cheeks on the lake the way Ethan posted a photo today like a tough guy. See, you're living out of one side of your mouth and on the other. You want it to be quiet, but you want to see butt cheeks. I don't know what to tell you. It's not going to happen.
If I have to hear "Let's Get It" by Young Jeezy one more time
Young
on the
Jeezy?
lake, I don't know.
Is that a person?
It's just,
Ethan, you and I told you I've been listening to you forever. I don't know who any of these people are. Is that bad?
Neither do I.
He's making them up.
No, I'm not.
So
one more thing I'll tell you guys is the islands are getting a lot of. The islands are owned by the utility, either First Light or CLMP, and people are going to the islands and using them. And when I was chairman of the Lake Authority, we did the cleanup was last weekend. The Lake Authority went up and cleaned everything up. Then what'll happen is these islands get crowded and people leave their garbage. It's ridiculous.
No, that's disgusting.
So another group popped up last summer called the Lake Patriots. A friend of mine, Ron, and Carlos, who are on the lake, and across the way, I think it's the one over by Candlewood Inn. Is that Brookfield Bay or Echo?
That's Brookfield Bay.
Brookfield Bay, and also the one by Candlewood East is Echo.
Yes.
So Echo donated a pontoon last year, and a group of us volunteered, Lake Patriots, and we do it several times a year. We go out and clean the islands.
Well, that's good stuff.
It's sad you have to do that, though. Your mommies aren't on the islands.
Never going to
change.
You do it
yourself?
You're always going to have a-holes who do not care about anyone but themselves, and that's what it boils down to, is selfishness, because they don't care about the quality of the lake for everybody else that's using it, or the earth. The damage that they're doing to the lake. Mm-hmm. But you can never change that. There's always going to be people who have to clean up after other adults.
Bingo. And we just went around and around, but you just nailed it. That's it. I've gone up to people on the islands and said, "Hey guys, I see them packing up to leave. Can you grab those 25 Corona bottles that you left there?" And I get the finger. And,
really?
And yeah.
That's never going to change. Well,
no.
With you explain, and you have been very helpful in explaining how this works, or frankly does not work. Where do you stand? Like, what do you want to do for your constituents?
In this regard?
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of stymied on this one because, like I said, it's a local issue, not a state issue. And as the state statute I mentioned earlier dealt with noise control, but it was defunded. It's just a difficult. It boils down to someone's perception. What Ethan says is loud. It's different than what Lou says is loud. It's different than what Pat says is loud.
So that actually makes it almost not worth putting in all the work to get a decisive way to handle it? Meaning, if you all came up with a plan on, all right, we decide when something's too loud, we send somebody out and they can ticket somebody. But what you're saying is it's based on perception. That makes it not worth it, because why would you throw a bunch of money in planning at something that can still be argued away?
Yeah, wherever it's going to be enforced, whether with a local fine or a state's attorney. If Ethan and Lou were state's attorneys, God help us, you would have someone would come in and say, I wasn't being loud. They just said I was being loud, but they just happened to be downwind from me. It's all very difficult to enforce. But I will tell you, the DEP and CLA they're good guys. I mean, they're regular guys with regular jobs. They do this for basically nothing because they love the lake, the CLA guys, and they go over and they talk to the guys. Hey, maybe you're new to Candlewood, but you're being an idiot. Turn it down.
In all honesty, it hardly ever happens to me when I'm out on the lake. I mean, I don't hear once in a while, especially if you get a flotilla, like 6 or 7 boats all tied up, especially over Chicken Rock area.
People freak.
Yeah.
Well, that's where you hear the music, but it's not.
People freak out when it happens near them. But
and the homes next to, right across from Chicken Rock, which aren't that far away on the shoreline. Yeah. They're also complaining on a regular basis.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, who told you to buy a house by Chicken Rock? I don't know.
Hey, Pat. I mean, this was enlightening. We got to run because this has gone on far too long. But we thank you for your time, and especially I ran into Pat. I got to meet him up in New Milford recently.
The grand opening?
And he's like, man, you screwed me on that one. I forget what the story was. It had something to do with Candlewood Lake and guns.
Sure.
I made a snap judgment, started running with it. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, cool.
All right, good talking to you guys.
Thanks, Pat.
Thanks for coming on. Bye-bye.
There you go.
7:38 right now. It's a Pat Callahan, state rep for New Fairfield.
Obviously,
so there does not sound like a solution.
It doesn't sound like it's worth planning for one.
Right. And as I said, it's not, you can go out in the lake and not be overblown by young Jeezy.
I think we should separate the issues. It is worth coming up, developing a plan, finding out who's in charge of enforcing littering. Absolutely.
Yes.
But the noise thing, if you can, at the end of the day, if it gets to court, God forbid, and someone can say, that's his idea of loud. Mm-hmm. If it comes down to that kind of thing, you'll never win that.
Exactly.
But littering, that's a physical, actual thing that you can quantify and should be able to go after it.
Yeah, so pick up your Corona bottles, all right?